guys, so today I'm going to do something which I've never done before on this channel. I'm going to share with you some movies recommendations. I've been asked a lot, and I'm still, I'm often asked on Tumblr, for example, what kind of movies I like, if I have any recommendations or things along those lines. And the truth is, I actually really love movies. I love watching movies. I love how they're filmed, edited, scripted, directed. I love the music, the colors, the lights, the sceneries, the actors, the dialogues. Everything about movies can really move me a lot. So I thought I would share with you some of the movies I like. I'm just gonna share with you 5 this time, and I'm probably gonna do a video every month or so if you're interested in that. The first movie I want to talk about is Hedwig and the Angry Inch. A lot of people don't know this movie, which I think is a shame because this movie is amazing. It is from 2001 if I'm correct. It's so moving and touching that you just get lost in the movie. I want to say it's like a musical movie. The music in this movie is great. It's amazing. I actually have the whole album on my iPod, and I listen to it all the time because it's just so great. This is the very sad and moving story of a transsexual woman from Germany who gets surgery done, and the surgery doesn't go too well, and she comes to the States to follow her husband, who then cheats on her and leaves her alone, and she falls in love again with a young guy, and they make music together, and something shitty happens, and that's the story of that. And that's really beautiful. It's an amazing movie. I love the song, I love the actors, I love the plot. Second movie I want to talk about is Her. This movie has made it directly to the top 5 of my all-time favorite movies. Because of the actors, because of the whole aesthetic of the movie, and because of the story, which I think is amazing, and because of Scarlett Johansson's voice. Can we take a moment to appreciate the voice of this woman? It's out of this world. Anyway, this movie is everything I like. The only thing missing would be something dark and gloomy and kind of gothic, but anyway. It's basically the story of a guy who falls in love with an iOS, and this love gets really complicated, but not for the reasons you would think of directly and first. This movie resonated in me for so many different reasons, and I could feel the love so strongly. Like, there's actually a sex scene in the movie. Well, I'm not quite sure you could call that a sex scene. It's not your typical sex scene, but it is still a sex scene, and I found it to be beautiful, which had never happened to me in my whole life before. This really moves me, and for the first time I feel like, oh my god, that's so intense. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I love this movie so much. I've been recommending it to every one of my friends. Third movie I want to talk about is Heather. So it's not as recent as the first two I talked about, and this movie is completely different. It's definitely an 80s, 90s movie. Probably a little bit more the typical kind of movies I like and would go to and watch when I have nothing else to do. It is witty, it is funny, it is odd, and it is just great. It is very surprising, I want to say, and even if you don't really like the vibe of the 80s and 90s, I think you would like this movie because of the story, which is really unusual. And Little Miss Sunshine, which is, I think, a classic. Probably everyone has seen it, but I thought I would throw it in there because I watched it recently again. Well, if you don't know what this is about, it's basically about a little girl who really wants to enter and participate into a pageant contest, a beauty pageant, a beauty contest, whatever. She goes there with her whole family. There's lots of familial stuff going on. Her older brother doesn't want to talk anymore. Her parents are not getting on really well, and there's her grandpa who is a drug addict, and there's her uncle, obviously, that is suicidal. In the end, it leaves you with a smile on, which is pretty amazing considering that it's not how you would think it would leave you when you first start watching it. It's just a movie that makes you smile because of the message, because of the little girl, because of everyone, and it gives you hope, I think. And last but not least, I want to talk about Theorem, which is very recent. It came out this year as well as Her. This movie is impossible to describe. The story is a bit strange, and I would rather recommend it for the aesthetics and little details of the story rather than the whole story. It's basically in the future, in a society that's not so different from ours. The guy has to work on a theorem that has to equal 0 at the end, like death, to show that in the end there's only 0, and he's working really hard on that. He's alone and he's waiting for a phone call, and the whole story is him waiting for this phone call while while working on this theorem. He meets Pearl and a teenager. During his work, he changes. He starts to think and wonder about why he's waiting for that phone call and what does it mean. Should he really keep on working, and should he rebel against the society? And it is a strange movie because at the end you're like, okay, but it's full of inspiration. Like, you watch this movie and you feel like you can create something, which is a feeling I really like and I'm really looking for when I'm watching a movie. I want to be inspired and I want to feel things. Okay, so that was it. Let me know if you have any movies recommendations, guys, and let me know if you like those movies, if you have seen them before, or if you watch them, let me know what you think. Oh my god, that was a long sentence. And I will talk to you later, guys. Bye bye!